I want to talk about depression, and it's not easy because depression means too many things to too many people, and it's not enough of a word. It's just not big enough to describe something that we don't even know if it's real or if it's not real. And I have it, and I don't know. So if I don't even know if what I'm experiencing is real or not real, that takes more than one word, the word depression. And we don't know and can't agree on where this thing that may or may not be real even comes from. Is it family history? Does it come from our brain stuff or our thought stuff or our gut stuff? Is it just our behavior, what we eat and how we move? Is it our chemistry? Is it the devil? Is it from grief or abuse or trauma? Sometimes I lean more towards gut stuff and then think maybe it's just the planets. Maybe it's hormones. Maybe it's medication. Maybe it's some of the million of other ideas on the list: illness or surgery, Monsanto, chemicals, blue light, insomnia, implants, stress, work, anxiety, family, money, circumstance, addiction, body image, loss of limb, and on and on and on. And what I'm saying is that depression is not enough of a word. And so I have been thinking about what depression is to me and how better to describe it. I grew up, I was a bit of an Eeyore, kind of a little dark, a little macabre, kind of found myself in a lot of depression like moments where I was in a hole and couldn't really see my way out, and needed a lot of assistance to just kind of get to like a base level of happy, I guess, that I saw other people at. And when I would be down, I would read about how to pull myself up by my bootstraps and try and change my diet and do all of the things that people say to do to alleviate symptoms of depression, like hydrate and walk and be in the sunshine and connect with people. My father would describe depression as being in this hole that you only see the sky above you. Like that is the feeling of depression, that you know the world is going on outside of you, but all you see is the clouds in the sky that happen to pass by. And if you're lucky, maybe a bird drops a sandwich on you. It could happen. Um, Other than that, you're not engaging with the world because you're in this hole in the ground. And it's depressing. Um, but I found that when I was in this level of depression, which I'll call DEP 1, when I was in DEP 1, I would do those things like hydrate and read and drink more water and exercise. And I found that if I just stood up, I could actually pull myself out of the hole. And I think that most people can just stand up and get out of their own depression. And that's what they're talking about when they talk about depression, and when people say, write in your gratitude journal and take better care of yourself and take a shower, wash your face, get out of bed. The kind of depression that people talk about like that, yes, that helps. And you can stand up and pull yourself out of the hole and re engage in life and see the beautiful, amazing, wonderful world around you. Because it is, and it's there, and it exists, but you can't see it when you're not engaging and when all you see is that little patch of sky. So that's step one. But there's another level of depression, And I call that depth two. And that is a deeper hole. And these two things are different. It's a different place to be in a deeper hole. You're farther down. You need help to get out of the hole. You can't just stand up and pull yourself out. Um, so that help can come in a variety of ways. I think this kind of depression is more what you see like on television when someone goes through something traumatic. Someone has a breakup and I call this the pizza trash kind of depression where you have just pizza and trash everywhere. Your blinds are drawn. You don't want to deal with anybody. You're eating tubs of ice cream, watching reruns, just stuck. And that's because you're farther down in the hole. And the patch of sky that you see is smaller and farther away. And in order to get out of that hole, you need a ladder. You need assistance. You need some sort of help. You can't just journal it away. Standing up isn't enough. You need like a shovel to carve steps or some better medication or a rope to help you climb out. That's in depth too. And the wonderful thing about asking for help is that by asking for help when you're going through something, you're really giving a gift to the person who's helping you, letting them be their best self. And the truth is that you are still the one pulling yourself out of depth too. You're climbing that ladder. You're just asking for help. There is another level of depression that I call depth three, and that is a deeper hole. And it's a deeper hole in which you are on fire. The hole in depth three that you are stuck in is so deep that you can't hear the world outside of you. You can't see any evidence. The little patch of sky is so small you barely see it. And the aloneness that you feel is huge because the people are so far away. Step three is noticeable to people around you. Really major life changes need to take place in order to get out of depth three. And it's not something that you can easily do. You need a major life change, maybe leaving an abusive relationship, maybe addressing addiction issues, changing everything that you know. The life that you are living isn't working for you, and it is too painful to stay in the state that you're in. And you need help to get out of that state. And you can't journal that away. You can't stand up and get back to your old life when you have that level of depression. And yet, we still only have one word to describe all of these things that can happen. So I call this depth three. There is another level of depression uh, that I want to talk about that I call depth four. The hole in depth four is so deep and so dark that you can't see the sky above you at all and actually get confused somehow and crawl sideways, making a tunnel parallel to the ground. I call this Swamp Town, Beaver Town, because it's like there's beavers and chainsaws and stuff in your hair. You're still on fire. Everything's crazy. I didn't know this level of depression lived anywhere. I have never been here before. I've lost interest in things that I cared about for moments at a time, but not months at a time, not years at a time. And I need to talk about suicidal ideation. I don't want to gloss over it because it's important to talk about. And it's important to talk about because it scares people away. But when you're going through it, it is terrifying, especially if you haven't had the type of suicidal ideation before. And then suddenly the voices in your head telling you to kill yourself are stronger than any other voice that you have. In depth four, you need to find a way to close the window on those voices. Depth four is a survival mission. And I don't say that lightly. I don't think most people survive depth four because we don't talk about it. It's terrifying. It's a terrifying experience. And all you can do is keep going with a beaver on your head while you're in flames. Having never been in this place before and trying to navigate my way over boulders in depth four, I'm really just in awe of people. And I have a real deep compassion for the people who have been lost underground. And I think there are many of us. As a hypochondriac and a rule follower, afraid of drugs and just about everything, I really surprised myself by exploring psychedelics to treat this new level of depression that I didn't know existed. And as much as I would try to rest and get good nutrients and do all the things we know keep us healthy, I wasn't physically able to do them every day. All I could do was keep going, fall down, crawl, get up, fall down, keep going. That was my job that I gave myself because I know that we don't know what's around the corner. All we can do is keep going. One of the gifts of being underground and not having a path to follow is you're carving your own. And like all paths, there's good things and bad things along the way for all of them. So you can feel free to explore every direction. And if it's not making you feel better, you can retreat and go another direction as long as you keep going. There may be obstacles and tigers and rainfalls and storms along the way, but as long as you keep going, you can find yourself in a new place. And I think that is the goal when you're in depth four. Just keep going to get yourself to somewhere different. The goal in depth four is to survive. That is it. We're not trying to get back to who we were. We're trying to not die underground. Let go of all of the judgments as to why this is happening, what's happening. You need to tap into a voice that's deeper than the ones you hear in your head telling you to die, and tap into a voice that is clearer than the ones outside of you telling you all sorts of things about what you should do. All you need to do is survive. I wish that I could just emerge from the ground and be the person I was before I fell down the hole, but that's not where I'm at. I live in this new place, kind of set up shop here underground, I guess. But I'm not where I was. I survived depth four. I'm not the person I was. I don't even recognize myself. Not my body, my thoughts, my ideas. I am so crazy grateful to be able to experience some of the gifts that depression has taught me, mostly being able to accept where I am just as I am. I still have depression, but it's not worse. It's not like another level depth five. It's not a deeper hole. It's so surreal. I call it depth toast. I'm in depth toast. I'm in this depression that is unusual and crazy and weird and familiar. I am up and down and all over the place, crying one minute, laughing the next. But I am in a different place than I was. I survived being lost in crisis. And that's the difference. That's the difference between levels of depression that I don't think we talk about enough. There are some levels that we need a break and a walk on the beach. And then there are some levels that are real moments of crisis. And there needs to be different words for that. So I'm not all the way out. I'm still stuck in the ground sometimes, but I have pushed over a boulder and I have been able to emerge enough to experience some of the gifts of the world again. I'm still living underground, but when I peek my head out, I'm so thrilled that I can hear and see and smell life and experience some of the bustling activity and excitement in the world. It's like the smallest things just thrill me. Being able to witness love, to experience laughter and humor and light and adventure, because the deeper the level of depression that you're in, the farther removed you are from all of the sights and sounds and delight of human existence. I think most people can relate to Dep 1. Most people have experienced kind of ennui or sadness in their life. But if you're watching this video and thinking to yourself, this is ridiculous, you weren't actually on fire, Ed, or you hear someone talk about depression and they're saying they can't get out of bed and they can't work or they can't brush their teeth and their hair in the same day, and you're thinking, what's wrong with you? Why can't you get out of bed? Are your feet broken? Just move them, just put them on the ground. I know what you're thinking. I have thought those same thoughts, even while experiencing it, thought those same thoughts. And I just want to offer my love to you for trying to understand something that is inconceivable to you, that is so brave and loving and kind. It would be easier to imagine life on an alien planet than to imagine and understand the disability of an invisible illness. As I find my way, tethered only to the entire cosmos, I want to thank you for bearing witness to my experience. And if you're going through something similar, I want to remind you that your thoughts are not real. You don't have to listen to the voice in your head. You are valuable beyond measure. And every moment you have air in your lungs to breathe, it is not too late for you, my friend. I'm always talking about the gifts of depression. There are many. The opportunity to reflect on yourself, the opportunity for stillness. When everything is so dark, So few things light up that if something sparks just a little bit, it gives a clear direction of where to go. That would be lost if everything was bright. Depression is not sadness. And the opposite of depression is not happiness, it's connection, connecting with ourselves and the world at large. And I want to be really clear, I don't think that it is possible for us to be mentally well if we are not providing ourselves with good exercise, great nutrition, clean drinking water, clean drinking water, restorative rest. I believe that those are necessary components to heal depression and to keep depression at bay. If you are in crisis, depth 3, depth 4, fighting for survival, do not let shame in the door. You cannot shame yourself into being well. We can't really shame ourselves into anything good at all.